MrBeast allegations keep getting worse and there doesn't seem to be an end. So last time everyone was concerned with the allegation that MrBeast hired a registered offender nicknamed Delaware as a contestant in his video, victim age 11, which is horrible.
Bro, I gotta say, bro, what the hell has been going on this year with this predators being exposed, bro? Like, I don't know. Was it Kendrick Lamar that sparked this shit for and minor? Ever since then, like, bro, everybody been getting exposed for messing with underage girls, bro. Like, what the hell is going on right now? Literally every month there's a new predator on the block.
Horrible. Since then, Jake the Viking confirmed in a tweet that Delaware is indeed his brother-in-law and a registered offender and was part of the MrBeast video, and claims that Jimmy and his mom also knew about this and allowed it to happen. Now, if you thought that that was the only criminal that Jimmy was associated with, Rosanna Pansino tweeted out, "I've received confirmation from 5 verified contestants that for the first round of Beast Games, a man named Armani was allowed to compete. He was previously charged with at least 20 counts for battery, kidnapping, pandering or pimping, and robbery. He pled guilty to the charge, acknowledging the significant evidence against him."
The Beast, you got too much money to not be doing background checks on these people you put in your videos, man. This is too much money you be making, too much money at risk to not do a background check before you let these people stepping into your studios, bro. Cause shit, I've been subscribed to MrBeast trying to get into one of these videos for years, and I'm seeing like left and right, he got pedophiles, he got kidnappers, battery felonies. Like, yo, first and foremost, you got your homies, you know, I ain't got nothing against the LGBT community, but we just found out he's also a pedophile. How the hell you gonna transition and be a like, that's a like a double combo like of hell. Like, then now you, the contestant you put in your videos, you're not even doing background checks. You know, you could blame the team for not doing the proper evaluation on who's being in the videos, but this is your name on it, so you gotta be responsible too to know who the hell you're doing videos with.
He pled guilty to the charge, acknowledging the significant evidence against him. He allegedly also slept near female contestants before being kicked off set for inappropriate behavior. Some of the female contestants confirmed being very uncomfortable around him. He's also friends with Jake Paul and other influencers. Why was there not adequate background checks to catch people like this? And there's a picture of Armani. Yikes, I don't think they took time for background checks. Good lord, my god, MrBeast, what else are you hiding? Now, obviously, this is really concerning if it is true, because you can't have criminals of this degree participating in your challenges, especially allowing them to sleep near female contestants when they might be uncomfortable. That is obviously a recipe for disaster, and Jimmy needs to conduct better background checks to avoid situations like this. Now, Rosanna follows up by saying he has changed his appearance since being in jail. Contestants said they believe he was in the green team in the group challenge. Multiple people have told me he allegedly received a lot of camera time and was to be part of the story. Here we got the alleged change in appearance. I mean, at this point, Jimmy has to respond to this. That is allegedly 2 criminals that we now know of. I mean, there's plenty of people who would take part in a MrBeast video gladly with great personalities. I don't know why they feel the need to scoop the bottom of the barrel with contestants and settle for actual criminals. That is just insane to me.
The business need to do a better job of hiring people, because I know he's not doing the recruiting because he's the face of this shit and like it's too much, you know. So I'm pretty sure he got people that handle the recruitment. Even though we say it's not MrBeast's fault, quote unquote, whatever, we don't know, but let's say it's not his fault. But the blame is always gonna get put on you because you're the face of this. MrBeast. If you think MrBeast, we think Jimmy. We don't think nobody else.
This next allegation is super serious, all right? I cannot confirm any of its legitimacy. I encourage everyone to do their own research and come to their own conclusions. That being said, YouTuber Honesty made yet another allegation against MrBeast, saying he's potentially using child labor or slave labor for his chocolate, which is incredibly concerning.
Everything in this video is alleged, and the conclusions are my own opinion.
It don't really sit well with me when people make this type of stories and just add allegedly, alleged. You can make up any story, then if you put alleged at the end, it's kind of like a cop-out, you know? Like if you're gonna make this story and make whatever, because these people are getting paid off these videos. If you're gonna make that allegation, stand on that shit. Don't be saying alleged. If you're making that shit up, say that shit. Don't be putting alleged at the end of it. literally, because some of these people, bro, they make this type of videos, then put allegedly, so the heat won't be on them no more. They'll be like, oh, it's a rumor, I heard. You like somebody tell you a lie, but oh yeah, shit, that ain't my lie. I heard from somebody else. Nah, stand on that shit, because now more people gonna start making false stories. Now us as viewers, we're not gonna know what's real or what's not.
For its exploitation of children using child labor and slave labor. They use child labor, forced labor, unsafe conditions to farm these cacao beans that eventually makes its way to become chocolates at your table. With that being said, I'm gonna try to prove my first point, that MrBeast is using child labor and slave labor for his chocolates today and has been since late 2023. When Feastables first launched in January of 2022, if you went into their FAQ, their frequently asked questions section, they proudly displayed that they were child labor free and slave labor free. As a matter of fact, in April of 2023, they doubled down and they added to their list of main menu options this option that said we're slave free. And if you clicked it, it had an entire dedicated page talking about how they were free of slave labor and child labor. But just a few months later, in October of 2023, that main page item that said we're slave free, that was removed. In addition, in the frequently asked questions section, that stuff about being child labor free and slave labor free, that stuff also disappeared. Later in May of 2024, and even to this day, there's no mention whatsoever at all about any kind of ethical sourcing of ingredients.
So you came to the realization that, okay, it's like me putting something on my bio. You know, back in the day, people used to put the BLM in the bio. Okay, then I just take it off. All of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm not BLM no more, some shit. So just because they took it off, that means they using kids now? Since they took that shit off their website, that means they got child labor now or what? Let's see where he goes with this. You know, let's see where he goes with it.
That stuff also disappeared. Later in May of 2024, and even to this day, there's no mention whatsoever at all about any kind of ethical sourcing of ingredients. If you're thinking, oh, it's a mistake, or maybe they forgot, I think the chances of this being true are less than 0.001%. MrBeast prides himself on hiring the best of the best, and there is no way marketers would forget to put this kind of information on their website because it would boost their brand favorability in the eyes of consumers. It's likely then that MrBeast is now using child labor and forced labor for Feastables chocolates. This is especially bad because it means that MrBeast and the Feastables team were very aware that child labor and forced labor slavery exists in the chocolate industry, and yet decided to take advantage of the most weak and the vulnerable among us for personal gain. This is a bad look for any company, but it's worse for MrBeast because he puts on these large public displays of being a philanthropist and a role model to young children.
Okay, if all that is true, that is absolutely sickening. I don't know how it.
Yeah, like Buddy said, if it is true, that's not cool at all. I do not condone that shit. I hate when people get hella emotional and onto a topic and just attack a person without all the facts. Just because somebody said alleged, just because they took something off their website doesn't mean that they're doing that. Because we all do it on our own social medias. We might put something on our bio, like I said. You might put something on your YouTube and you decide to delete it later. Doesn't mean that you're taking back your word or whatever, you know. But if they took it off and now they're using kids, that ain't cool. But
I'm starting to understand what it actually takes to get uber rich. Somewhere down the line, it seems something sinister happens where you might potentially have to sacrifice morals for more money. And yeah, based on what he said, that is some extremely shady behavior. Removing labels like that is extremely concerning because then you're allowing people to speculate like this.
Yeah, true. Like, they should just never had it in the first place. You know, because they do create that speculation, and people that are looking for any quick buck, they're gonna make this type of video.
Assume the worst intentions. Now, honestly goes on to say that in his opinion, MrBeast actually knew about this and planned it this way, which is another insane allegation.
I think MrBeast knew the entire time, since the beginning of Feastables, that he was going to use child labor and slave labor for his chocolates, but he tried to trick us into thinking otherwise. To try and prove my point, I'm gonna first talk about the Feastables packaging, and then I'm gonna talk about the kosher and halal certifications. When MrBeast first launched Feastables, it was in line with his brand. They were clearly trying to do things ethically. They actually got a certification from the Rainforest Alliance. Once you're certified, you're able to use their logo, which is a little frog, on all of your products, your website, on all of that stuff. When I saw the packaging for Feastables, both old and new, there was no Rainforest Force Alliance certified logo anywhere. If you one day that package has a frog logo on it and the next day it disappears, people will notice. So instead, they decide to only put it on their website because at the end of the day, who the hell reads a website except for weirdos like me? By doing it this way, I think they tried to fool everyone into thinking that their chocolate is still child labor free and slave labor free.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna speculate on MrBeast's intentions because I don't know what is going on in his head, obviously. But the facts that he presented of removing those labels and refusing to put that little logo on the chocolate bar, that is some concerning stuff. At this point, MrBeast is gonna have to wait until the end of the earth to respond because he said he's only gonna respond after all the allegations are made in one final response.
No, nothing about that because let's be honest, he probably deleted the comments, but it was actually dominated by questions about Chandler. Is Chandler still part of the channel? Haven't seen him in a while in any of MrBeast's videos lately. You see, not only was he not in the most recent cave video at all, but you see, for the past few months now, the quantity of screen time that he's actually had has sparked rumors about whether he'll be quitting or staying with MrBeast. And even in the scenes that he is in, people are saying that he seems uninterested. And in the MrBeast 100 Days in a Nuclear Bunker video, some of the most liked comments are about how everyone misses Chandler and how he's the best character on the channel. And to be fair, the first time that I noticed anything that was maybe a little bit strange was when they went to that abandoned city for 7 days. And like for most of the video, he seemed a little bit uninterested, but I didn't think much of it. But then he leaves halfway through the video. And before they left, they had this like final s'mores evening together. And they're all sat around the campfire talking and at least
But you gotta think about it, bro. Most people got different type of morals and way of living. Something might be going on personally in his personal life, and also probably his beliefs. I don't know what he believes in. Might not align with a bro right here. This change affected everything. I feel like the Kris dude. I don't know why he goes by now. I'm sorry for being uninformed, but him transitioning affected the dynamic of this, the group. That's what some people need to think about, their decisions, how it can affect others. And if you know you doing this going to damage the videos on the channel, just remove yourself away from it so you can avoid putting other people in uncomfortable situations, So I feel like he could be uncomfortable with this situation. Also the allegations that are coming up, because now, he also is a pedophile now. He got exposed for that shit. It makes sense why he wouldn't want to be in the videos no more, because MrBeast not putting his foot down because he doesn't want that backlash from this community.
Enjoy themselves while filming, at least for the camera, right? I was just looking at him in the corner and he literally looks like he couldn't care less. And then kind of like nail in the coffin, he says this.
Well, I just had s'mores, so I can go to the boat now?
You see, bro couldn't care less. So the question is, where has he been and what is he doing? Well, interestingly, about 2 months ago, seemingly out of nowhere, he surprised all of his fans by saying that the Lord has put it on his heart to share the word. So now, as a consequence, every single day, I think he's only missed like 3 or 4 months, he makes a video on TikTok reading verses from the Bible, and he doesn't care about engagement at all. Some of these are 6-7 minutes long, just uncut, unedited, just reading. That's it. And interestingly, it's now become the only content that he's actually making. So the question is, why now? And does it have anything to do with all of the MrBeast controversy? Well, in one of these 6-minute-long TikToks, he actually shared
but in the darkest times, that's when you'll find the Lord, bro. And shit's been going down in that camp, MrBeast camp, bro. So it makes sense that, hey, man, I'm gonna take this path right here because the path we're going right now is not looking too good. So let me remove myself and find God.
For a while, he was going down the wrong path. He said he was doing a lot of what he called sinful things like smoking, drinking, partying, doing drugs, etc. And I mean, that's all the stuff that he says publicly. But then, one day, he said he was standing in the kitchen smoking weed, feeling very depressed, lonely, and sad. He hears a voice, which he says is God's voice, booming, and he said, "What are you doing?" He said that he suddenly froze, and in that moment, he felt as if God had removed all of the scales from his eyes and snapped him out of this trance that he was in, and he could see what he was doing. He continued saying that from that moment on, he threw out everything, including 2 big garbage bags of stuff. So can't say it. He said he stopped doing drugs, he got baptized, and now he said that he's trying to help people who struggle with the same sort of stuff that he was struggling with by making these videos. So, I mean, honestly, it seems like, we hear a lot of people that get a lot of money, a lot of fame really young, and yet they go off the rails, kind of like he was going, like he said. So for him to be able to recognize that and turn it around before it's too late, W Chandler, honestly. And here's the thing, while this does come at the same time he's appearing less in MrBeast videos, he's never publicly said that these two things have anything to do with each other or that he has any intention of leaving MrBeast. As of right now, all that we can speculate is that he seems that he was in a bad place, and his recovery process probably just includes lifestyle changes that don't coincide with really long stints of filming away from his home and his wife. And you know, since talking about all of this on my TikTok, some of the most liked comments were, if Chandler leaves, I leave. Chandler's aura is unmatched, and if Chandler leaves, it's game over.
He did the right thing personally for himself, you know, because you do need those moments to actually find yourself and what you really want out of this life.